All right, we're recording, yes. It's very maddening because I usually a voice comes out and says recording on the computer, and now there's okay. Saying by the previous Lubavitcher Rebbe, in Torah study, when a person learns Torah, then it's intellectual. You're devoted to the topic that you want to understand. And eventually you come to understand it. That's learning Torah, mind. In prayer, davening, the more is directed to what's above understanding. You're connecting yourself to God, which is the creator. He creates understanding. He creates the spiritual. So Torah study, you're trying to understand. And prayer, you're devoting yourself to what's above understanding, the creator. When you learn the Torah, you feel like a pupil with the teacher. When you pray, you feel like a child with his father. Huh? Child with his father. And I told you the story yesterday, but I'll tell it again because it's worth telling 100 times. There was somebody that went into the Lubavitcher Rebbe. He was a rabbi, but he was also a professor in some science, whatever. And he was not really acquainted with the Rebbe. He came out and they asked him what happened. He said, listen, a mind like that, I've never seen such a mind. I mean, he knows everything. He remembers everything. All the explanations in the Torah, all the commentaries. He's up to date in the most modern ideas of science and medicine. And it's just really amazing. Understands everything. He said, but when we talked about God, he talks just like my grandmother. He talks like my God. Simple faith in God. Okay, now story. That's what it says. When you learn Torah, you're like a pupil with a master. But when you pray, you're like a child with a father. God, you don't understand. The thing of God is not to understand God. It's a commandment to try to understand as much as possible. That's the motto of Judaism. Shema Yisrael, understand. Shema means to understand. Understand Jews that God is. You have to understand as much as possible. But afterwards, you realize that the reason I was understanding as much as possible is to realize that anything that I can understand, that everyone else understands and thinks is God, right? That's not God. That's an aspect of God. But the essence of God, you can't understand. Just like a child doesn't understand what his father is, doesn't understand. Okay, now story.